journey is more beautiful than the destination itself. I wanted to do engineering and then MBA and then work for a bank. I can study for 12 hours a day, one day, but then I would be so exhausted that I will not be able to study for the next few days. So I have to maintain consistency, which is my keyword in my entire preparation. Belief is the first step towards success. I can do this, you can totally do this.
Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Final results for the most prestigious Civil Services Examination 2021, commonly known as IAS examination, have been declared. 685 students have been recommended for selection. Out of lakhs and lakhs of students who appeared for this exam, that way this becomes the most toughest examination, one of the toughest examination of this world. So today we are joined by Mr. Samyak Jain, All India Rank 7, a topper, to share his views, his journey, because there are lots of myths, lots of misnomers with regards to how to prepare for this exam, how to ace this exam, how to clear this exam. So to have discussion on various fields, various aspects with regards to the preparation of this examination, or to have a holistic perspective about the entire civil services examination, today we are joined by Mr. Samyak Jain, All India Rank 7.
Sir, it is often said that journey is more beautiful than the destination itself. And I think in my case, I think that's the biggest truth. I think it cannot be more aptly said. I started my 11th standard, my plus 2 from science side with a mindset of going into engineering. Like any other middle class child, I wanted to do engineering and then MBA and then work for a bank. That was the dream. But then I joined a engineering college in Pune. I was 18 years of age back then, and in my first year of engineering, I was diagnosed with this eye problem which I have. Due to various reasons and due to the non-cooperativeness that the college showed, I could not continue with the engineering and I had to drop out of it. So in 2015, when I was almost 19, I dropped out of engineering and I came back to Delhi. I joined SOL because at that point of time the admissions into regular colleges were over and I had no other option but to do graduation from School of Open Learning. Yes, it is looked down upon, and SOL is almost like a stigma in the Delhi circles, especially Delhi university circles. Nevertheless, sir, I did not let it hamper my confidence and my will to keep fighting in life. After my graduation, sir, I joined this journalism college, Indian Institute of Mass Communication, to pursue my PG diploma in English journalism. So that is like a one-year course. So from 2018 to 2019, I was at IIMC. And while in IIMC, I had this urge to pursue international relations. Therefore, I joined next door JNU and I did my MA in IR from there.
Great. So the way you fought back, sir, the way you bounced back, that is really an inspiration. Samyak, it was your second attempt.
Yes, sir.
And you scored All India Rank 7.
Yes, sir.
There are students who spent 5, 6, 7 years also for this examination. Sir. And since it was your second attempt, you had certain issues also, some health issue also. How did you cope up with that? Because usually students, they get, you can say, tired, they get demotivated. What kept you motivating?
Sir, in my case, I can say that it was this disease or this health issue that I had. That was the biggest motivation. That somewhere back in the mind, I did not barter with my dreams, even though so much happened with me. And I realized that civil services is the only shot that can give me the life that I desire, that can enable me or give me the agency to do the things that I desire to do. And therefore, if I do not become a civil servant, and if I do not become a civil servant in this particular attempt, then I think somewhere I would be defeated by this problem which I have, and that was completely unacceptable to me. So I think in this way, this problem itself became the biggest motivating factor.
Great. Now, is it worth spending 2-3 years? What would be your message? Like those students who are preparing for last say 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, is it worth
Sir, there is no blanket yes or no to that question. Yes, anyone requires a minimum of 2 years to crack this examination. I think giving less than that would be an insult to this process itself, because it is one of the most difficult examinations in the world. So yes, 2 to 3 years, I think that is a legitimate amount of time that one can spend upon it. But when it comes to 5-6 years, sir, then I think it changes from candidate to candidate. If the candidate is losing out at the main stage or at the interview stage each time, then I think that a candidate should pursue. But if I think if somebody is not even able to clear prelims even after 4-5 attempts, then I think there should be a relook at the entire strategy.
Okay. So if someone is not able to crack prelims exam, then he or she must introspect and give a second thought, right?
Yes.
Now, my third question or next question is related to this prelims examination only. Lots of uncertainties, unpredictabilities which are associated with prelims exam. Students, they say that they are confident of clearing mains and blah blah blah, but they are unable to clear prelims. How to tackle the unpredictability of preliminary examination?
Yes, sir. Prelims is indeed the most unpredictable examination that we have. Even in this year, the 2022, which I did not give, but I got a chance to look at the paper. There's a new set of pattern of questions which has been introduced. So therefore, this is an uncharted territory for that matter. But sir, I can tell you that if you maintain consistency in your studies, and if you are giving enough number of mock tests, if you are attempting at least 5,000 to 6,000 questions at home or in coaching classes before actually attempting those 100 questions in the actual prelims, then I think you have enough experience to tackle any kind of questions that comes your way. And yes, maybe your margin of clearing the cutoff might increase or decrease from paper to paper, but I can guarantee that if you have done that much hard work, then you will at least clear the cutoff which is required from prelims.
Okay, means practice sets. Practice is very important. Definitely. For this preliminary examination.
Definitely.
Now, there is confusion with regards to number of hours as well. How many hours a student should work? Did you study for 20 hours a day? Because there are lots of rumors, myths with regards to it, and the students should be really enlightened to have a view of a topper.
So frankly, I would like to meet those people who study 20 hours a day and that too every day. I believe, sir, it is humanly impossible to study for more than 8 hours a day, that too with consistency. Again, I can study for 12 hours a day, one day, but then I would be so exhausted that I will not be able to study for the next few days, and then my average would naturally come down, right? So I have to maintain consistency, which is my keyword in my entire preparation, that study consistently. So therefore, I studied for 6 to 7 hours or maximum 8 hours some days, and that was my mantra. But when I was studying, I was legit studying. It was not that I had opened a book and I was thinking about something else. 6 to 7 hours of study with full concentration. That is a caveat that I like to put in there.
Oh, great. So number of hours is not actually that much important. Important is your concentration. Definitely. And your commitment, right?
Definitely.
Now, with regards to newspapers also, how many newspapers a student should go through?
Sir, I would be the wrong person to ask that question, because I have a background in journalism, and let me tell you, I love reading the newspaper. I have the Google News app on my phone and I love reading it. But on a serious note, if I am guiding someone, then I would ask that person to read 2 newspapers. One is a general newspaper and the other one would be an economy special newspaper. So in my case, I read the Indian Express as the general newspaper, and for economy, I preferred the Mint.
The Mint.
Yes.
Okay. And to prepare notes also, would you suggest?
Sir, I don't think it is feasible to prepare notes out of newspaper, because if you are reading newspaper for 2 years every day, at the end of 2 years, the amount of notes that you have, you won't be able to revise them only.
Right.
So I don't think it's feasible.
Notes making is not that much.
At least not from the newspapers.
Right. Now, there is a very general question, Samyak. That question is, lots of students, they start their preparation with very high degree of enthusiasm. I have to crack this exam. But very soon they get exhausted. What is the mantra to keep oneself motivated? Because as you rightly said, it takes at least 2 years. How to keep oneself motivated and do not get deviated for 2 years? What is the main secret of maintaining or remaining focused?
Sir, at the beginning of my preparation as well, someone guided me that this examination is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you have to consider this as a 42-kilometer long marathon, and only then you will be able to manage your energies properly, that at what point of time, how much energy do you need to spend upon what. and in that sense, you would if you are excited about it in the beginning, then that's good. But it would be very hard for anyone to maintain that energy. So I would recommend everyone to spend that energy very, very judiciously, because you need the more amount of energy when you are nearing the exam itself, rather than the early stages of preparation. So consider this as a marathon and not as a sprint.
Okay, great. Now, there are also suggestions from so many quarters that one should always have a plan B, because since IAS is a highly unpredictable, you can say, assignment, and there should be plan B. Is it necessary to have plan B, or can one have plan B?
Sir, there are all kinds of candidates who crack this examination. Some might have had a plan B, some might also be in a job while they crack this examination. I can talk about myself, sir. In my case, sir, I think not having a plan B worked in my favor, because there was always this fear that if I do not crack civil services, then what will happen to my career, then what will happen to my life. I think that became a guiding force, rather a motivating force, that motivated me, or that made me work harder and harder each and every day. So in my case, at least, not having a plan B worked, and it worked very well.
Oh, great. Yeah, that is quite evident from your result itself. So full-time commitment is more important than going for plan B or plan C.
Yes.
Now, what is the ideal time to start this preparation? During graduation, after graduation, what is the right time?
Sir, if you ask me if I have any regrets today, then I would say that the only regret that I have is that I didn't start this preparation soon enough. I could have started this 3 years ago, and I could have become a civil servant 3 years ago, and by this time I might have been in services. I would say, yes, if you are clear that you want to be a civil servant, if you are clear, not everyone is at the graduation stage, but if you are, then I think, yes, second year or third year of graduation is the best time of starting your preparations. Nevertheless, if you are not clear at that point of time, and if you are in your masters, just like me, and then you figure out that civil services is your real calling, then also it's never too late. So you can jump in at any point of time.
So ideally, second year or third year would be the right time to start preparation, right? Now, again, there are actually in civil services, Samyak, people say that what needs to be studied is less important, and what not to be studied is more important. How did you selected your resources, your platforms, so that you are not digressed, and you remain focused on that?
So that's a very good question. I think there are a plethora of resources that are available at the market, and one might be easily confused about what to study and what not to study. I think in that sense, UPSC itself has done a very good job, that it has given out a very, very defined syllabus with what the topics that it is going to ask, and even the subtopics that the UPSC is going to ask. So I think the first step towards starting your preparation would be looking at that syllabus itself, learning it, by hearting the syllabus first of all, looking at it every day, and then taking up the examination, the previous year papers, both for prelims as well as for mains. And that would tell you what kind of questions are being asked from those topics, what topics are being asked every year, and what topics have not been touched by the UPSC till now. Again, they would be a guiding force towards guiding your preparations. And stick to one book. Again, my mantra was minimum syllabus, maximum revision. So I would suggest you to stick to one book for one topic, and not more than that.
One book for one topic, yes. And don't go for multiple resources. Right. Now, with regards to social profile of a student, the students, they say that I have to uninstall Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, because these are actually you can say they derail a student from being focused. So, what is your take on that with regards to social media presence of a student?
Sir, I think again it's a personal choice for every candidate. It depends upon the level of maturity and the level of commitment that the candidate possesses. If the candidate is motivated enough that nothing can deter him or her from his or her goal, then I think not cutting himself or herself out from the social media is also feasible. Like I never left Facebook or I never left Twitter. Yes, I reduced their usage in my everyday life, but then I also used YouTube a lot. I liked YouTubing in my free time. So if you can manage these things in your free time, then there is nothing wrong with that. But if they are hampering your study time, then I think you should cut down on those things.
Okay. So duration is more important.
Yes.
The time you spend on those platforms. I was going through the marks of toppers, and a pattern that I found that paper 3 has been a daunting task even for toppers also. What is the biggest problem with regards to paper 3 of General Studies IAS Mains examination? And what is your mantra to score higher marks in paper 3?
Sir, in UPSC, you can always be sure that at least one of those 4 GS papers would be a complete bouncer. This year it was GS3, and unfortunately GS3 happened to be my strong point. So I was very confident about GS3 that I would score very well in GS3, but when I saw the paper in the examination hall itself, I was taken aback because there were some questions which were, you can say, getting out of the box, which were unexpected. But nevertheless, sir, I think if you are able to, you should first of all take the aim to complete the paper, that you have to answer all the 20 questions. And if you do not know something, but if you are prepared very well, if you do not know the exact answer for some question, you might know something which is near about to that question, and try connecting those dots. I did just that, and I scored 99, which is not very good, but it is, I heard, better than the average in GS3 this year. So I think that is a strategy that you can adopt.
Okay. I was going through your marks as well. Your marks in essay is extraordinarily very high, 142. What it takes to write an extraordinary essay? How did you practice to have this kind of marks?
Sir, I think everybody and anybody can score those marks if you are able to understand what the UPSC is asking. If you are able to answer to that, I think you can score those marks. So what I did was, I had a background in English literature, my graduation, and then journalism, and then IR. So my essays reflected all of those things, that my educational background, as well as the diversity of the GS papers that I studied for UPSC. So suppose the essay came this time, it was something related to the perceptions, and I in the introduction itself, I started from the play that I read during my graduation days, Antony and Cleopatra, which is also about perceptions and everything. So I started from there, and hence I utilized my graduation degree to an extent there. Then I also mentioned a few things about journalism and media. And what I do when I see a topic of essay is I note down the various aspects of that topic. That okay, I start from GS1. The GS1 covers your history, geography, and social issues. So what is the historical aspect of this topic? What is the geographical aspect of this topic? Similarly, going on to GS2, what are the constitutional aspects of this topic? Then GS3, economic and environmental aspects of this topic. Then ethical aspects of this topic in GS4, and so on and so forth. So this way your essay becomes very, very diverse and multidimensional. You can show the examiner that you are able to think from multiple perspectives, and you have a grasp on all of those perspectives, which is something that the UPSC is looking for. So that way you can write a very good essay.
So you connect your essay with all 4 papers of GS.
Yes.
A beautiful way of attempting essay. Now Samyak, with regards to current affairs, lots of sources and crores of facts are being sprayed on the students, and students are really confused. How did you cope up with this ever daunting current affairs preparation?
So, current affairs are a bit tricky, and there is no substitute to newspaper, I would say. But then there are what you call as 1 year current affairs that are available. Even BYJU'S Exam Prep does that, and I think you can read those out before your prelims and mains, and you can revise, and you can do that 2 or 3 times. And I think they are sufficient enough to get you through those current affairs.
Good. Thank you. Now, a very layman's question. Samyak, I can't mug up facts. I am good at understanding, I am good at analysis, but facts is something which I do not find very comfortable with. This is a common challenge that a student faces. So, how to cope up with this? How to gather more and more facts, or is it necessary?
Sir, I can tell you for mains, if you know some key data points about the NFHS data or the GDP data, I think those are very helpful in writing those better answers, because ultimately you need to get ahead of your competition, and for that you need to put in some value addition material in there, and therefore putting in those data points not only substantiates your argument, but it also makes your answer look unique and good. So good ways of doing that is, first of all, reduce the number of facts that you are learning. Okay, you single out that okay, you will be learning not every data that is a data point that is available, but the data points that you think that you can remember, and that could be more, that are more probable to be asked or to be used in your GS papers. Some data points such as NFHS are useful for multiple, from GS1 to GS2 to even GS3. NFHS data can be used in multiple papers. So you can mug up such data points rather than mugging up a lot of data points. Secondly, sir, you can make up what you call as acronyms. I used to remember things by, I could like first letter, second letter, and then I would connect that. In that sense, I could recall things, and that was a strategy that I adopted. So yeah, those ways you can learn.
You can cope up with this. What is the role of academic background, Samyak? Do I need to be a topper throughout my career, or there are chances for those students also who are moderate so far as their academic background is concerned? What is your experience?
So I was never a topper throughout my career, and moderate. You were just saying moderate. I can say below moderate as well. Anyone can crack this examination. You don't need to be a genius, or you don't need to be a throughout topper to crack this examination, because that is not what the UPSC is asking. If you are able to understand the syllabus, if you are able to work hard, then I think anyone can crack this.
So the academic distinction is not required.
Not at all, sir. Not at all.
Because lots of students, they get demotivated. Now, one thing with regards to the column on hobbies and extracurricular activities, how to nurture that? Because when we take mock interviews of students, we feel that students have written something under their hobby column just for writing sake. They do not mean it. So, for upcoming aspirants, what would be your suggestion? How to nurture it, and how did you do that?
That's a very good question, sir. A few points on that one. First, when you write your hobby in your DAF 2, try to be as specific as possible, because when you write a very vague hobby, such as playing sports, then that's a very even football, cricket, basketball, all of them are sports. But you only play cricket. You don't know anything about football or basketball. So the examiner can ask you questions on basketball or any other sport, javelin throw, right? So be as specific as possible. Secondly, after your mains are over and when you are fairly confident that you will be clearing your mains, and before the result is out, I think it's a good idea to start practicing your hobbies at that point of time, because you anyways have a lot of time on your hand. So if you like playing sports, go out and play sports. If you like watching movies, watch movies. Reading books, read books, or whatever your hobby is. I think it would be a good idea at that point of time, after your mains are over, to practice those hobbies out before you actually appear for the interview.
Great. PSIR was your optional, Samyak.
Yes, sir.
I have two queries on that. First, it is called that it is a very vast subject, very vast option. How to deal with, because it is very popular also among IAS aspirants. Second, how to select, what is the criteria to select an optional?
Sir, I take the second question first, the criteria. So even at when I was deciding my optional, I had two options. My graduation was in English literature and my master's was in PSIR. So I also was confused that whether to take English literature or PSIR. So what I did was I took a comparative analysis of those two subjects. I realized that they are not much English honors, English literature is relatively less optional as far as UPSC is concerned. And for that reason, sir, there are not much notes that are available, that there are not much test series that are available in the market as far as English literature is concerned. Whereas on the other hand, as you rightly said, PSIR is a very famous or very common optional. For that reason, tuition, coaching and notes and test series, all of them are available for PSIR is concerned. And PSIR was also more fresh in my memory because that was just my current degree. So those were the reasons that I took PSIR, that I could get all the support of the materials, as well as it was more fresh in my memory, and that is why I decided PSIR.
So students should do a kind of fair amount of homework.
Yes.
Comparative study.
I think the biggest amount of homework that the students need to do before starting their preparation is deciding their optional, because that is very critical. Ultimately, UPSC equalizes all the optionals. If somebody has taken mathematics, somebody has taken civil engineering, somebody has taken sociology or PSIR or anything, at the end of the day, all of them would be marked equal. No, there is no normalization in that marks that happens. So therefore, if you are able to score more marks in your optional, you will have an edge over other competition.
You rightly suggested students to, for so far as current affairs is concerned, that BYJU'S Exam Prep is doing some good, publishing good material. What is your take on the materials like YouTube videos that CNA, DNA, etc. that we publish?
Sir, I think those are very good YouTube materials, and I did follow them. Actually, the thing is, when you are taking a break, when you are having your dinner or when you are going to sleep, So the benefit of these YouTube videos is that you can put them on 1.25x or 1.5x and you can listen to them while going to sleep or while having your dinner or while taking a walk. So you don't need to put in any extra amount of time while listening to those videos. So that time can be, borrowed from here and there, and you don't even realize that your preparation is improving. So I think that is a very good resource that BYJU'S Exam Prep is putting out for free on YouTube.
Thank you. Now, Samyak, in a few words, what would be your message to the aspirants who are watching this conversation? And because they are very curious, and students, they hardly get any chance to interact with toppers. So it is a great chance for all of them. What is your message to them? How should they start preparation, and how to keep themselves motivated? Your message.
So my one line message would be that if I can do that, I can do this, you can totally do this. Stay motivated, stay positive. You have to believe from the first day itself that you can do it, and you have to believe from the first day itself that you will be at least appearing for the interview. Because belief is the first step towards success. And yeah, maintain consistency, keep evaluating yourself consistently, do lots of mock tests, do lots of answer writing, and I think that is the key to success.
Great. Thank you, Samyak. Thank you for joining us and guiding our students. Thank you, sir. On behalf of BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS, I wish you all the best for your beautiful and illustrious career. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me.